How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Pixelated Thoughts, and it is finally time for us to do a Rocket League centric episode. We're joined today by our buddy Chris. Chris, wave your hand. Thank you, sir. Don't mind the Kansas City gear. Who gives a shit anyway?
That is
So,
true. That is true.
I think between me, Josh, and Chris, we've played Rocket League since its inception, right? I believe 2015 when it first came out.
Yep.
Okay. And Brad, you recently started just a couple months ago because you saw me and Chris play, and we demanded that you get on with us.
Well, so I actually got it when it was still in beta. Like
Really?
I actually downloaded the game, but I almost exclusively played against the computer. Like I didn't play. I didn't play against like actual people for the longest time. I actually unlocked all of the original content, like
Really?
because when the game first started, it was just every match that you played or every so many matches that you played, you just unlocked a piece of whatever, like a wheel or a like a material or whatever.
Really?
I
Oh my god.
played it quite a bit now. Now that was against the computer, and once I started playing against people, I just ultimately realized that I'm really bad at the game, so I didn't really play it that often.
So I want to talk
I
to
had
you about that though, with the new player experience, right? Technically, let's say new
yeah,
player versus like PvP, right?
right.
What is your first thought when playing Rocket League? Like, what do you think the big draw of that game is?
Um,
And give a serious answer.
it's not really a draw. Um, I would probably just say the I'm going to say the simplicity of it, right? There is no, it's obviously a very technical game, but it's, car, soccer ball, right? You take
Correct.
car,
Right.
hit ball, it's a very simple equation that you add algebra to it to play like you guys. But um, I, I think it's just it's free to play, it's a sports game, it's
Dude
just
had the
that's,
whole world of geometry and
Yeah.
went algebra.
yeah.
You had to throw both of them out. So, Josh, seeing how you played it since 2015, why do you think Rocket League has persisted for this long? Because if you think about it, this game probably, like, honestly, it wouldn't have surprised any of us if it just like bombed, right? Like, it's a very unique game. There are no transferable skills in Rocket
I
League.
think I think I think that's it. That's the reason. I mean, there's nothing else that's like this game, and there are people who've tried to make something similar to it and have failed tremendously.
Yeah.
And I mean, this it's. I was a little disappointed at some point when when Psyonix got bought out by Epic,
Really?
and then they went the route that they did. And we've talked about this before. The whole, the loot crate system was taken, or the what do you call it? The keys. The
Oh
key
man.
system was taken away. I mean, that was one of my favorite things to. I feel like I was able to earn a lot of shit.
Except
Like
Brad,
now, I
he
don't feel like I
hated.
earn shit.
Brad hated that fucking system. Brad hates the fucking loot crate system or
Yeah.
the new system.
The
I'm
key
like,
system,
yeah, the
yeah,
key system was
Yeah.
so good. It was so
it was good.
easy.
It was good.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I have 100 crates just sitting in my stuff that I
yeah,
just
Yeah.
don't open.
yeah,
But I feel like the great thing about it is it's following the same path that Fortnite did with just constant content being provided. It's the same mechanism. It's everything all about. It's the same soccer game with cars, but you have so many customizable skins and fucking rocket boosts and
goal
goal
explosions. Yeah,
explosions. I mean, you have so much shit that you can customize to make it more about who you are. And I think that's what
Yeah.
draws people back to it all the time.
is it what
Except
draws
for
you
Brad,
back to
though.
it? Yeah, except for Brad.
I mean, I like it. I like it. As much as I hate it sometimes, I fucking like it.
Yeah, because if you leave Rocket League for a little bit, like
Oh,
you get
yeah.
fucking rocked by people, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Chris, what brings you back? Because I'll tell a little story. I quit Rocket League for a year because we were playing Rainbow Six Siege, and Chris
Good idea.
continued to play it. And then one day Chris goes, "Hey man, jump back on." And I think I skipped like the longest season that Rocket League had. It was like a 9 month season. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll jump back on." And I was like, "What the fuck is he doing? How is he doing half the things he's doing?" Because before I think it was like you could catch and then fast aerial, and I was like, I have no idea how to catch up to that. And then yeah, it was just impressive how like within a few months Chris had already gained so much in terms of like ground mechanics. So Chris, what kept you coming back?
I mean, honestly, it was a good time with the friends. First and foremost, right? It's one of those that, to me, I won't play solo. I'm gonna play with some buddies. I don't like playing with randoms. All they do is kind of complain, which I guess we'll get into that later. But um, really, like Josh said, there really is just something about it that makes it unique that I can just kind of come back to time and time again. And while it's the same, every game is different, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. I agree with
No, not really.
that. I love how Brad is just like, no. I just think like
Yeah.
as a whole,
It's
like,
always the same.
like when you
for-
look at other competitive games, with the exception of like Fall Guys, right? Like every game has like that transferable skill. First person shooters, it's really, a lot of it is positioning, your twitch, your aim, that type of stuff. With like Rocket League, it was everything you do in that game is completely earned by the player. So if you learn how to catch, like I've seen, I make fun of Josh sometimes because he'll go a little slow, but he'll catch the ball perfectly, like on a really good play. He'll slow the play down. There's so many different things that you can do, mechanics you can learn, learning how to double tap, learning how to flip reset, learning how to do 45-degree flicks.
What is that?
Musty. I'm talking a new language to Brad. Brad, remember when we do crazy shit in the game? That's exactly what we're.
Yeah, that's all that.
All that geometry you see and calculus or whatever. That's pretty much what that is.
Yeah,
But there's like
I mean,
levels to it. Like I got obsessed with the game. I remember the only reason I improved was because I played a game and I thought I was getting better because I was doing training packs, and I could not catch the ball cleanly on a play, and I got roasted in my lobby even though we won like 6-2. And so that's all I practiced for like a whole day is trying to catch. And I was like, and then in a couple hours I got pretty good at it. I think that's like my biggest love for Rocket League, even though I feel like I can see why certain content creators would say it's going stale, but that's only because they push themselves to cover a game that can only do so much without you trying to use a VPN to do custom maps. So I think Rocket League as a whole is like one of the best games I've ever played because it's just and it's in its own little group. Like I don't think anyone else can touch it. Right?
Yeah.
It's like
No.
because you
They
have
tried.
like you try like you have other games that are like everyone else has like a competitor, right? Like with MOBAs, like it's League of Legends, Smite, and all those others. Rocket League is just kind of sitting there by itself, like putting its hand up, like, hey, like, do you want to hate yourself for a couple hours? Yeah, you think it's fun when the first time, remember that, Josh? Like you're playing, you're like
Yeah.
flipping toward the ball, like this is amazing. And then you see someone aerial for the first time, like, what is this magic? What are you doing up there?
And I think they've established themselves so much that I think it'll probably be in the place that it is for a very long time. I don't think anybody's gonna ever be able to touch it.
What's crazy is that even with all the pro play, and I think I'm the only one here that watches RLCS, right? The Rocket League Championship Series. There's like
Sometimes I
no
do.
skill ceiling. There's a kid out there named Zen, and he is a fucking god. Like everything he does is like the cleanest mechanics. It's the fastest I've ever seen someone get to the ball. He does it with like little to no boost sometimes, right? And I'm like, if people are like, oh, that's the skill ceiling. It's really not because there's freestylers and all these other people like learning new shit constantly. I'm like, the game has been out for what now? 7+ years. Like that's fucking insane. And they're still using like Unreal Engine 3. Like I don't think they've added, I think Knockout last year was the first time they had added a new game mode since Heatseeker. Right? I think.
Yeah.
I think that was like the last
I think
time.
so.
And like that's
Heatseeker's fun.
Heatseeker's fucking awesome.
I love Heatseeker.
Brad, did we try to play Heatseeker with you once?
Yeah.
It's
Where
where
the
the
we did.
ball goes really fast.
Yeah, I've played it a few times.
I thought that
I go on the offensive.
And that's a good way to
oh,
practice
that's right.
your
Me and
jump.
Chris like forced him to go demo people.
You get the permanent boost.
You get perma boost, baby. Just go and hit it.
I think that's actually what helped me get better at those wall shots that you said
oh yeah,
I do good at.
like Jack at one point in time was a champ player, and he quit Rocket League for I think, or you played so
Almost a year.
sporadically that the meta kept
almost a year.
changing. Like it's crazy. Like Chris is an excellent ground player, right? Catching all that other stuff, and then the meta shifted to the aerial stuff, which I got really proficient at. And then it's like it's such an awkward thing how quickly, and now like the new meta is like wall dashes, right? Which are chain dashes, which are fucking hard to do. Like a lot of
I've never
ceiling
even heard
shots,
of that.
like aerial
Yeah.
fakes and team plays, that type of stuff. There's all this new strategy that's always coming out for this game. And it's just fun to see, like, you were a champ and it's like, now I'm a diamond, and it hurts your
Yeah.
feelings just a little
It
bit.
sucks. And that's the thing is if you don't keep up with it, it's like many other games, honestly. But I think it's less forgiving with
Oh,
this
dude.
game.
I
That
Yeah, I mean,
you just lose it.
yeah, I mean, not only that, you take like Mertzy, right? He chain dashing stuff like that. He was doing that 2 years ago, right?
Oh yeah.
Before everybody was kind of really doing it. Now everybody's kind of trying to do it, right? But there's a difference between I watched it, I apply it. You can't do that in this type of game. The learning curve is
No.
just so much that you just.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's like fighting games.
It's always
So
it is. That's a good point, because fighting games really, I think, are probably the closest thing. And I don't think you guys do 1v1s, but we'll bring up the 1v1 RL bum fight that we Josh and Chris. But I think, like, to get better, you really have to play every mode, right? Like Rumble, like, really does help you with reaction time and awkward
Nope.
reads. Brad, what mode have you not played, Brad? Like, we played Snow Day with you.
Yeah, I've played all the modes. I've played hoops. I've played the
hockey one. That's Snow
yeah.
Day, right?
I attempted the battle royale mode once. I hated it, so I immediately stopped that.
Oh, knockout mode. You didn't like knockout?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
did you ever do the football mode?
It was limited time
no,
mode.
I did
That
the
was very limited.
Yeah.
I did the cricket mode.
They had a cricket mode?
No,
No.
I did
No,
not.
he's fucking.
They're getting real niche.
I fucking hate him, dude. I knew that would happen. So what's your favorite mode, Brad?
I would just say regular.
Really? You know what's interesting about Brad, and this is kind of
Well-
like how like there's kind of newer players where they advance quicker. Brad actually makes really good reads, and we play in like lobbies that are at least C2, C3 to GC. Me and Chris do, and then we drag Brad into it. It's so funny because everyone in that lobby has the expectation that Brad will not miss easy reads. So when he does, though, the entire team dives. And so it's
Faking.
like, oh, and then we have like a fucking wide open net. Is the funniest shit.
It happens a lot. When you put a less experienced player in the mix amongst a bunch of against a
Were you-
bunch of
Was that an
very
air roll?
experienced players.
That's an aerial right there, baby.
It was
Yeah.
doing an
Yeah.
air roll.
You find that a lot. Like I find it hard to play against very inexperienced players sometimes because they're more unpredictable.
Dude,
Your
it's-
experienced players, you almost, like you said, they expect you to do a certain thing a certain way.
When you play against really experienced Rocket League players, there is a structure the higher you go up in level. Because everyone has like, they know what a good touch looks like. They know that throwing being too chaotic is very risky, especially in ranked against like really high competitive players. Like, dudes will fucking like, they always have like a routine. Somebody's going to try to like immediately touch it off the wall, go off the ceiling. They're trying to catch it into a flip reset or something. Like, everyone, I've always told people, like, if you're low rank, just fucking shoot it net. Seriously.
Yeet it.
You will, yeet that thing, because you'll always throw off, like, gold and platinum and diamond players, because you'll see immediately, especially in twos, people will fucking panic if you pepper around the net. That is, like, the easiest way to get double tap. But, like, when you get into, like, champ, like, I try to structure my shots now. I've noticed that, too, where I'm, like, I try to structure a shot, and I'm like, oh, he's on the back wall already. I'm not getting this play. That was a bad move by me. But no, I agree with that. Like, when you play with someone who's inexperienced, it's like, no one, like, who goes for that, you know? You're like, hey, rotate back. Nah, I'm diving.
Right.
Let me kamikaze at this. Yeah, let me
Well,
see.
it's like putting a stick in a line of ants.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just that one guy trying to jump over it. And here comes Brad. He's like, I got it, boys.
How many times
been
I've sit
idea.
there trying to dribble to goal, and I mean, I have my cameraman Brad right behind me, and I'm
He's
like trying to flick and do all this shit. I'm like, I can't focus, man.
he's like, don't worry, baby, I got this perfect angle.
just-
who needs replay when you have me?
I'm just making sure that you got the support that you need.
All right, well, it is appreciated.
That was essentially
somewhere else.
That was
but
Will,
not.
dude. That was Will also. Will used to
Oh
do that
my
all
God.
the time.
God.
His job has always been to just
Demo.
do demos.
Yeah,
Demo.
But I will
Demos.
say, Will is a savant at Rumble.
Oh my
He
God.
was
Oh,
the
yeah, he
first
loves
person
Rumble.
I ever saw
Yeah.
tornado dribble. I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever showed you this clip, and Chris got so pissed off because, like, in every other mode, Will is pretty much as basic as possible. Right? He's not really quick in terms of aerials. He doesn't know how to wave dash, all that stuff. But you get him in a Rumble and you get him the tornado, he will dribble the ball and you. He carried a guy into net. I think, Chris, was it you also? Did he carry you into the net with him?
It was me and another guy, and he actually
was
made it
the
to where the
best
ball.
clip I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
If I
And Chris
recall
got-
correctly, the ball hit
Yeah.
me and went in.
Chris got so
But-
pissed off because will do it like on command. He's like, I got it, and he'll pick it up and just carry it over, and everyone's just like in the lobby, like, what the fuck is that? Who is this guy?
The same way that the magnets make sense to us, which makes no sense to him.
Yeah, tornadoes. He just gets it,
The
bro.
tornado, he gets it.
I'm like,
Yep.
where does the math come from, Will? Like, because I'm not a good Rumble player. Like, you get me the fucking the fist, right? I'm just punching the ball through, absolutely. But everything else, I'm like, plunger, ice. But like, Will just gets it. It's so weird when his brain just unlocks like that. He's like, I'll just dribble you and the ball. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So with that, I do have to ask a question. We'll shoot to Chris over because you're one of the more experienced players here. What do you think Psyonix needs to add to the game? Like, what do you want to see? Because Unreal Engine 5 is on the way. Nobody knows when it's coming, right?
So
not
that's
gonna
actually
change
kind-
much.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of a worry of mine.
Yeah, that scares me.
Because there's going to be another learning curve that I have to kind of go down.
Do you think they're gonna change the physics for the cars to make them more accurate to like the hitbox accuracy?
I hope so.
I think as you mess with the frame rate and the graphics, it's it's the same thing. Like I played PlayStation, and you were talking about like, hey, I talked you back coming and playing, right? We actually started playing again on PC,
Right.
whereas it was capped on I think it was 30 at the time on PlayStation.
I think no, it was
right?
60, it was 60 still. It was kind of like it was 60, but it would dip. It would dip.
Either way, it wasn't the 120 that is on
Yeah.
PC, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
which is it. I never thought I would be like Nick and be the purist of 60 FPS and 120 FPS, whatever the case may be, right? But trying to go back and play on PlayStation is a nightmare. So going to Unreal Engine 5 and the graphics update and everything like that, I don't see how that doesn't mess with the
Excuse
physics
me.
of the game. Bless you.
Yeah, because the hitboxes right now, there's 6, I think, total. There's like the Octane, which includes like the Fennec and stuff like that. There's the Dominus. There's the there's a hybrid. There's the Merc hitbox, and there's like I think the Batman hitbox is like its own thing. And there's another one.
Good.
So like a lot of people were frustrated because if you play with the Octane right now, and Chris, can you pull up the Octane with your little hand car? There it is. If you play with the Octane, there's just a little bit of space above it in terms of the hitbox when you're carrying the ball. I wonder with Unreal Engine 5, is Psyonix going to make the decision to make the hitboxes car accurate?
Well,
Mm.
with that said, though, I will say this. I don't remember what season it was or even what year it was, but there was a particular time where they pushed out this massive update for an aerial overhaul for the game. It was early on, maybe a year after the game came out, and
That's
it
right,
helped. Yeah, and it helped a whole bunch on these players who were a little more advanced. They were doing a little more aerial things to actually balance the ball. And that's when people started doing those challenges of how long can I bounce the ball on my head while I'm doing, up in the air, so on and so forth. So this might be a good thing. I don't know. It's hard to tell right now.
I mean, what do you think, Josh? Like, do you think that, what do you want added? Like, what do you think? How do you think UE5 or if Unreal Engine 5 will affect it at all, other than being like, because Fortnite runs Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if Fortnite has it and Epic owns
Yeah.
Fortnite,
If
I mean,
if
what?
they can make changes that keep that almost keep the aesthetics where they're at,
Mhm.
I think they'll be okay. But however, if they use Unreal Engine 5 and then they change the aesthetics too, I think that's going to turn a lot of people off to it.
They're gonna have to give. I mean, obviously, there's a heavy emphasis with pro play. Like RLCS is a growing.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so they're gonna have to like literally get the pro players involved. And I think like that's my thing. Like Psyonix, their biggest failing so far is the inability to kind of be transparent with their
Make a good game. Oh
communication.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
not
that's
make
sorry.
a good
My bad.
game.
My bad.
Brad, I'm sorry that Fortnite fucking let go of Save the World. Okay.
True that.
All right. But with Rocket League, it feels like Psyonix at times just won't acknowledge a problem, or they won't do. They'll fix it weeks later, and then say something like, "Hey, we've done this." Right? They're really bad at transparency. 2 years ago, I believe they announced that they were working to push toward Unreal Engine 5, and we've seen nothing. The Rocket League Championship, I think, is in August or is in June. Something. I think it's in June. So my question is like, at what point in time do you let the players see what's going to happen? Like, and I'm okay if you're just doing like a visual update. Like, then I won't give a shit. But what I want them to add the most is custom maps. If console players can have that on Fortnite with the custom map modes, Rocket League should be able to integrate that too, because it's a huge part
that'd
of
be
the
nice.
game. It's a huge part of like for a lot of PC players. It's like how a lot of times you maintain your casual bases. You give them the rings challenge maps, and you have like hide and seek modes, all that type of stuff. I feel like like, to me, I don't think the game gets stale because there's always a challenge to get better for me personally. But if they don't add the ability to integrate custom maps from certain major content creators or the map making community, I think Rocket League is, you can't just
Dead on arrival.
not dead.
Well, I mean, we played that sumo
Fucking
game with
swear.
Will.
Yeah, I loved it.
You know,
I thought that
you know
was
what I mean?
fun.
Like, and that, I mean, that, it's literally just knock each other out of the ring. No blow ups or anything like that. It's just knock each other out of the ring. Unlimited boost, whatever. If you can save yourself, cool.
Yeah.
But if they were to, I don't understand why they wouldn't do something that I think Overwatch 2 should have spent a little more time on, is a beta,
VR.
right? A
Oh, yeah,
massive
yeah.
beta where
Well, hold
they
on,
can get all
Chris.
this testing out of the
You're
way.
in the beta right now, baby. Like, don't worry about what
Touche.
season Overwatch 2 is in. You're in
Touche. Well, I mean, hey,
if you're free
Siege,
to play. Yeah.
Siege went live a couple years ago, 10 years after it came out, but it did go live.
That was my favorite thing. But yeah, with Rocket League, I feel like there's just been this weird thing recently. I know a lot of people, like, they're not on social media following this, but a lot of content creators were complaining like maybe the game has gotten stale. But I'm like, dude, there's like, if you go onto the Rocket League Reddit, people are constantly playing this game.
Yeah.
Gold, up, doesn't matter. And I think that it's like, Josh, who did you introduce to Rocket League recently?
I don't think I introduced it to him, but he was already. You talking about Dolphin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Where,
loving
like-
it now.
Like,
He's like,
people will play it and then they'll be like, this is like my new obsession.
Mhm.
And I think that, like, once you realize, like, if you get bored with certain games, like, you don't want to play a first person shooter, you want something wholly unique, then Rocket League is it. Like I said, it's a physics based game. Like, do some of the physics sometimes make sense? Absolutely fucking not.
That fucking corner.
Sometimes the goddamn quarter isn't your buddy. But
I think the people who are having issues with it becoming stale are the people who are probably hitting a fucking wall with their skills.
it's true. It's true.
I've hit many of them.
Yeah.
Well, but you're accepting of that, right? These people that are probably complaining are people who are probably trying to strive to get better at it and can't.
Yeah, and there's also content creators whose like entire content is Rocket League. You
Yeah.
can only show me like pro players they get so much lead up because they're like the peak of the game. They're the ceiling at times, But with like casual players, I think a lot of people really underestimate the casual base actually paying attention to all the noise. They're just like, I just want to play and have a good time.
Mhm.
And then it's like fighting games, right? There's a certain point where that wall is going to occur, and it's going to be up to you to whether or not you want to continue to get better or you just want to have fun with the game. And that's a personal decision, but I see a lot of people usually committing to like trying to at least get better with the game. Brad, do you ever feel that way? Do you ever want to get better at Rocket League when you play? Like when you see certain things happening, do you ever go like, I just want to be able to, perform certain moves to at least be competitive?
No.
No. I love
I mean, I don't hate the game. It's like it's not that I like don't not like playing the game. It's just if y'all weren't playing it, I would never play it.
you never
Because
play.
literally the last time I played was the last time we played together. I mean, it is not a game that is in my
What's the most
general rotation.
for you? What's the most frustrating thing about it?
I like that lip quivering.
Yeah, quiver lip, quiver.
Honestly, for me, it's just there is no progression in the game. Like it's a sports game, right?
I love watching like Chris and Josh immediately get like that, like they're biting their tongue.
Well, no. I'm not saying like I get better. It's like it's a sports game. You just
Right.
you play rounds of it, right? It's a Call of Duty. It's any sports game. I don't say Call of Duty because there is progression there. You unlock guns and your gameplay changes, right? In Rocket League, there
So
are
you're saying
different
there's
types.
no meta. There's no meta necessarily.
Well, no. It's all the unlocks are cosmetic. Besides the different,
Okay.
car hitboxes. I mean, that's the only thing that you can physically change about the game.
Right.
With
When you
me
talk about
and Chris-
progression, do you mean like you're talking about like different ways to play?
yeah. So
But that type of but the progression. Do you mean like? But you're not mentioning like progression in terms of like your own individual ability, like getting better that way.
right. And once again, it's a sports game, right? You get better at the sports game, but the sports game doesn't change. But and it's just a preference of mine. It's just not something that I particularly care to play. Chris said he would never play it by himself. I don't play it by myself. I'll play it when friends are playing. I'm not going to ask my friends to play it, but I'll play it when other people are playing it.
Well, I mean,
that's exactly why I wanted Brad on. I wanted like that point of view that was vastly different.
I mean, I'm a RPG guy, right? I like skill trees and I like, getting better gear and doing better stuff. Me and Chris play Road Company, right? It is very repetitive, but at least there is within the game there is
I once posted
a progression.
a TikTok about Brad and Fortnite, right? When he talked about Save the World. And the first comment we got was, "Just say you're not good at the game, bro."
Oh no, I'm good at Fortnite.
And when I clip this, I'm gonna be like, have someone just say you're not good at the game, bro. Okay, just.
Oh, I'm not good.
So I mean, all the points you made about why you're kind of hesitant on the game or whatever are the things that I love about it. That there is no progression necessarily, right? That there's no. I can use this. Right here, gold octane forever.
Yeah.
And my gameplay can just grow with it. It's not a big deal. It's all cosmetic.
Yeah, everything is dictated by you. Your individual skill, essentially. It's really weird because I think that in terms of reaction, maybe that's different, right? But as soon as you play the game and get familiar, you'll be able to predict things better. Like you'll know where a certain read is going to come from, that type of stuff. And I do think that's the wall for a lot of players when they get past, I would say like platinum, and they start to realize like there's a little bit more organization than they thought there was, right? Like you really have to fucking start learning how to.
You have to rotate,
fast aerial. Yeah. You have to learn how to catch. You really have to learn how to catch, and you really have to learn like how to shoot and paint the corners and stuff like that. Like all that starts to matter. And I don't disagree with you, Brad. I really don't. I think that you make a good point. That's why I wanted you on here, because I wanted that opposing view of someone who has played the game, who I think if Brad committed to it would actually be really fucking good at it.
Agreed.
I just think, me and Chris have totally seen it. I have seen Brad hold his own. I've seen Brad like fake. I've seen Brad like do like, because every time we've played, somehow Brad has gotten better. And I always make the joke like, dude, were you playing without us? Are you in training? Because he'll have like a read that he could not make a week before, that he's made almost instantly.
Called alcohol.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, just
So,
a little bit of whiskey in
well,
me.
so I was laughing earlier because Brad actually made a comment to me last week. He said he was playing with, I don't remember who he was playing with. It doesn't matter, but they are at a
Oh
quote
yeah.
unquote
Jesus.
lower level, right? Of, your silvers and golds and stuff like that.
Damn, dude.
And he actually was messing up so much because he was so used to the speed of the champs and stuff that you and I usually play with. And
Yeah.
back to what you were saying, Josh, like if you
Yeah,
go and
it's
play against
exactly
people
what
who are
happens.
less, dude, it's so. I've been playing with Marshall and all those guys the last couple days, and it can get frustrating at times because it's like I'm expecting them to hit the ball and then they don't hit the ball, and I'm like, but I mean, it's fine. I still have fun, everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's not an issue. I don't blame it. Whatever.
Same thing with our buddy Josh Smith. Like Josh will be like, "Hey man, yeah, every time I play with you guys, it's so much fucking faster." I was like, "Well, I mean, like I think at a certain point, I want to say around Diamond, where you start to learn how like not to." And Chris said this to me once, a long time ago when we were trying to go for champ, like for the first time. He was like, "Dude, people just don't miss. Like
Yeah.
you see them like you might not get the best touch on the ball, but sometimes like people were like you'll be shooting crazy ass shots and people are just like pinching it off the goal and you're like, what the fuck do I got to do to get something?" Which is where the demo meta comes in that Josh hates so much, man.
Well, I mean, that's why. I mean, things like
Unless you're demoing people, then you love it. You're like, there we
that's
go.
why
Me?
that's why the things
Yeah.
like
Oh,
other than style points, right? That's why things like the move to the ceiling and then perform a ceiling shot into a flip reset. That's why like all these crazy ass players started doing this type of stuff because otherwise they're not scoring.
Exactly.
A straight on shot's
Yeah.
gonna get blocked.
I never
I hate it
understood.
because it's very effective.
Yeah. I never understood like the air roll, right? Like why it was needed when I used to see Chris do it, and Nick's brother used to do the same thing. I was like, I never understood like why it
Chris,
was
yeah.
required.
Yeah.
And then I started to like get more proficient, and I was like, I understand because you really need to air roll to adjust your play,
Position yourself.
position
Yeah.
yourself for the ball.
Not
right?
only that, but slow yourself down
Yep.
too.
Slow
It helps to
yourself
slow yourself down.
Yeah.
So
And there's like so much. It's a really good feeling when you clip on somebody. It really is. That's why pretty much I play like when I play casual. I'm like, I'm a ceiling shot this. I'm gonna pinch it off the ceiling just to see.
when Ken first came back, I was doing these aerial shots, and what I would do is I would backflip in midair, and this dude would go, "What the hell is that
Yeah, I was
cocky
like,
shit?"
Wait, what is
Da, da,
that?
da, da, da. I'm like, dude, honestly, I'm doing it just to slow down. I'm not trying to be cocky. It looks good, but that's not why I'm doing it.
Chris would do like a pogo or a pancake or some shit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing, man.
What is this? Josh, as you've played a couple times with like me and Tadpole and Chris sometimes, like what have you noticed that's like changed about Rocket League over the years? Like what have you noticed about the player base? As we've played competitive threes too.
Man, that's a good question. I have noticed the whole meta has changed. Same toxicity though, at a certain level.
What a
Just
save,
it, bro.
baby. Close one.
That'll always live.
It's like,
I don't know. I didn't, up to a certain point, I didn't realize they changed it and added a supersonic legend fucking
yeah, you
Gabba
had
Gabba
been
Go.
gone for
I
a
don't
while.
fucking.
They
Yeah.
added SSO when they went free to play.
What I did notice is, so because they did that, it was a little bit more achievable. It was a little bit. I'm gonna say easier, but that's not the word. It was easier to get into the champ rank because of that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll give you a little backstory on that. So when season 1 and season 2 first dropped, they had noticed that in terms of rank distribution, like there was like nobody there. The people in champ it was very low. The population was actually really low from C1 to C3.
You're probably always playing the same people.
And so Rocket League was like, Psyonix was like, all right, let's kind of help that out. And so they made it easier. They kind of lowered the MMR to get into champ.
Yeah.
So which really but like here's the thing, like a lot of the player base felt like, well, I'm not earning champ, and in my head I was like, that'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn really quickly what rank you are. Like when I grinded to like champ 3, like div 4, when I got close to GC, I was like, holy shit, I have to like level up to get to Grand Champ because people are
Yeah, you
fucking
do.
crazy at that level.
Yeah, they're insane.
And I was
I
like,
think the problem though that they created is all right. Yes, they now allow more people to become grand champs, but now you're having the same issue in the supersonic ranks.
yeah. Oh well, I mean, you still have to. I mean, you're top 0.1% like
And
SSLs. And my favorite thing is like this is always my favorite distinction. There is a real difference between a pro player and an SSL, and it's like it's almost that I would say that division sometimes or that divide is as big as like an SSL to a champ. Like there is a real fucking divide there. So I tell people, I'm like, just because you made SSL, like, does not mean you're like close to a pro player. And like just before when you were like, grand champs, like everyone was saying rank when you made grand champ, it was like, oh, I'm a grand champ this. And it's like, are you a pro player? Because that's what usually what the pro rank is. And everyone's like, no, I'm just in like that 1% of the player base. My favorite thing right now though with ranks is that you can be a champ player, which is like the top 10%, and people are like, that's not good. I'm like, bro, I'm in the top 10% of the whole fucking player base. Like the average is at platinum. The average player base is in platinum right now. So that's why I always see like the same people that I team up with or play against when I'm playing ranked, you know? But I think the big thing I've noticed over the years is just how like quickly, and Chris, you mentioned this, quickly people will adjust to the meta when they're trying to make higher ranks.
I don't know if it's just me, but it's roboting on my end.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
no,
There's
it's
this-
definitely Ken. I only heard about half of
really?
of that
you guys
entire
weren't
monologue.
saying anything.
Well, no,
We're
I
all
was
sitting here.
Oh, is it
I,
robot?
I was catching the gist. Remember that I was saying before we jumped on the thing.
Oh,
We'll have to
no.
cut this out, but I was getting the gist of what you were saying. I mean, yeah, ultimately.
I was not.
Okay, well, ultimately, what he's getting at, right, is the difference in levels between certain divisions and ranks and things like that. A champ 1 against a champ 2, the champ 2 is going to demolish the champ 1. More often than not.
That's what it feels like.
More often than not. I shouldn't say all the time. But it's the same thing with SSL versus pro and stuff like that. Like, I mean, great, you made grand champ. That doesn't make you a pro. You ain't even close. That's like you joined a AA team and said I'm in the MLB.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
you
just-
are.
I signed a sweet contract. Yeah,
You know, it's
literally for a second
it's
when I
just
was
not the
watching you
same
guys
thing.
talk, I was like, oh, you guys are like delayed on my screen. I was like, I've been delayed on
I'm
their
laughing
screen.
because it's doing it again.
Is it doing
Yeah,
it
it's
again?
doing it again
Oh,
for me.
God.
We're gonna have to start just putting a voiceover. You know what? when you go through this,
Oh, I can add mine.
just go through it.
Yeah, I can add
Just
mine.
add a voiceover.
I'll add mine in it. I don't know how to
So,
fix it.
all right, here's a good question. As we get older, do you guys notice a difference in reaction time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets better.
Not so much for this game. Not so
Yeah.
much for this game, but I your FPSs and things like last night we were playing Battlefield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near. I mean, I'm out of practice too, but nowhere near as good as we were when we were playing Battlefield 4, Ken and I,
Yeah.
right? Where we were getting like 70 kills a game.
I
Like,
was still cooking people. I was still doing good.
See,
bro, 18 kills is not crushing people.
I was 18 and
The dude-
5. First off, hold on, you need to chill, Mr. 5
You
and
wanna
5.
focus-
All right.
You want to focus on the first place who had 52?
Hey,
Yes.
I wasn't
just
dying
saying.
every 30 seconds, guys. All right, I was still doing good. I'd played months.
well, sometimes sometimes I'll need a couple games for me to warm up before I start getting my depth perception in and ability to get those. Fast
I've
aerials up.
I've actually found that as a detriment. If I spend a little too much time in training, and stuff like that, I mean, I'll do
Oh
like
no,
5
I'm not
minutes
talking about training.
max.
I'm just saying the first few games.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, I hear what you're saying. I'd rather just jump right in, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think it takes too long for me to get into it. I mean, you're vastly older than I am, but
Oh,
Wow. Not even.
What did you
This
deserve? What did you
motherfucker.
do? What did you do, Josh, to deserve that?
I don't even know.
Good
We're gonna have a
lord.
conversation after this.
We have
I
to
hope so.
we have to talk
Hope
about
it's a
this,
good
young
one.
man.
Go sit in your room and tell I'm ready for you.
Maybe you a stern talking to.
Yeah, right. Daddy didn't like that.
I'll probably have to sync up my
But no,
OS to just
I mean,
nod when I
it
talk.
definitely, yeah. I feel like the first game or two, is a nice little
Yeah, it
warm
takes
up.
me
But
about 2 games.
I don't really do the training thing too much anymore. I just kind of jump right into the games, and
I don't even do that.
yeah.
I warm up usually with a 1v1. That'll
With a what?
a 1v1.
Yeah. With
1
One.
1v1.
One. 1-1. 11.
do 1v1 matches.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Is turning into a fun game.
Oh my god. Yeah. 1
Charades
One.
begin.
1.
2-1.
100. Would you rather face?
1v1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
okay.
Would you rather face 121 bears? Yeah, I got it. 1v1.
But what are you 1v1ing though? That's the question.
Is it a bot? No, he's done 1v, like we'll do tournaments and then we'll just like do 1v1s and stuff prior to the tournament, a couple minutes prior. All right.
You guys are gonna have to carry. I can't talk. You guys can't hear me.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's great. I'll get about every fifth word.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. So what's one thing about new people coming into Rocket League is like you were saying, they get excited. It's they end up finding out they love the game. Like Dolphin, he was chatting me up at work one time and he's like he was excited as fuck to tell me that him and a friend of ours did a tournament and won it.
That's
And I
sick.
was like, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, man. And what's the highest tournament you guys have ever won?
Champ.
Same.
No.
I don't think I'll ever get up to anything higher than that.
Yeah, and like I was saying with the difficulty swings between different divisions of champ, right? It is a complete mixed bag when you join those tournaments. I mean, you can play people that you just steamroll, and then next game you lose by 4, and you're like, okay, moving on, I guess. So
Moving on up.
If you were to wish for a collab to happen with Psyonix and another big name, whether it's a anime or a show or another,
Fortnite.
you think they
So
would
you-
do that?
so you're
They
kind of
did.
like what?
They did that already.
They did that already? Oh,
Yeah.
So kind of like what Overwatch did with was it One Punch Man? Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tom. What?
Okay.
So Overwatch has a One Punch Man limited thing going on right now.
Where you just one punch people.
Oh, with
Who's
Doomfist.
the punch guy?
Doomfist?
Who's the punch guy in Overwatch?
Is it
He was a
Doomfist?
tank. Now he's
Doomfist.
Yeah.
or Doomfist,
Uh,
or he was.
Cassidy.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, he's
So
wearing that
Doomfist.
yellow leotard thing.
And they have it in the style of, if you think of Enter the Spider-Verse, that type of cartoon style on their kind of front
Mm-hmm.
thing. So
It's very comic-y.
Yeah. They chose not to use the anime look.
so they've already done so many. They did Jurassic Park. Remember they had the Jurassic Park Jeep?
Yeah, they did Batman.
They did.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean they did. Though they did a bunch
Oh.
of different Batmans, right?
So what's your favorite collab?
I'd say Jurassic Park only because of that gold explosion, man. That thing when it came out was dope as hell. That fire, the fire T-Rex, whatever, coming out of the
Mhm.
goal. Now
That's
these
pretty
gold
cool.
explosions have gotten insane. Like Ken has the blue ice
Yeah,
or
I've
whatever it
seen
is,
that.
and it's.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But at the time, that shit was awesome.
I kind of wish they would expand on some of the customization and making things personal a little bit more by maybe even creating like a little avatar that gets in and out of the car or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Are you trying to plug yourself into Rocket League?
You know what? Sure.
I'm not saying there's a problem with it. I'm just asking.
You know what? Take the failing Knockout City characters and bring them over into Rocket League as avatars.
Dude, they're already down. Why you got to keep kicking them?
Knockout City
You know-
is not epic.
Well,
It's
I
EA.
know. I know it's not epic, but I'm saying just take them.
Oh, you mean
What
like
are they gonna
Paragon?
do? They're closing up shop anyways, right?
Oh, it's fucked up, man.
You just have a point.
Sue
yeah.
for copyright infringement
That's fucked
for
up.
starters.
That's true. Epic should just
Um,
buy 'em.
ET would be pretty dope. They could have a pretty cool one with that.
Oh, they did one.
They did one with ET.
Yeah, you have wheels that have like the ET, the moon on it.
I remember they did Ghostbusters, but I didn't remember they
Yeah.
did ET.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I
that
have
one.
I have the wheels that have ET and stuff like that.
I do too. I didn't know they were the ET ones though.
Mhm.
All right.
The Ghostbusters one was
missing,
the best one though.
Cars.
I do. Yeah, that's a nice.
Well, they
Lightning
had
McQueen.
they had the Ghost game, whatever, with Rocket League.
I fucking hate
in the-
that
in
game,
the-
by the way.
Oh, so did I.
It was such a bad mode.
I don't remember that one.
That was
I
probably the
don't
worst
really
mode Rocket
recall
League's
what
ever had.
the
So-
thing,
So basically,
what you did in the
was
game, but I
you,
remember I didn't like it.
you hit the ball right into the little area. It was like you're trying to trap it, and then
Yeah.
you'd have to wait like 5 seconds for it to work, and like people would just get frustrated and leave because it just didn't work out half the time.
Good.
They tried to use, if I recall correctly, it was kind of some like drop shot mechanics or something like that, where it like gets stuck and it would
Yeah,
do.
yeah, like that would be like where the area would stuck
Uh-huh.
at. Yeah.
Yep. You just keep cutting out.
Dude, hey man, on my side, like everyone's audio is perfect, so this is gonna be good. I'm gonna have you guys playing charades the entire.
It's gonna be
time.
interesting. I don't know. I
Thanks,
think it'd be
Jack.
cool if they introduce some kind of avatar thing. I mean, it'd be going a little bit farther than they need to, but why not add something new?
Like add an egg into the like. I don't
Oh god.
like you mean-
Egg.
like the eggs are in the stands, you know. So the eggs are like the
Egg.
avatars. You guys hear me?
I'm trying to catch what you're saying, but
I heard eggs.
in the stands there are eggs.
Uh huh.
Those could be your avatars in the car. In the car there are eggs. Oh, let me
in the
disconnect.
car there.
Okay, inside the car.
I'm gonna disconnect and come back.
There's
Hold on.
eggs. Real awesome.
All right, there he is.
I have returned.
Oh, now we're fucked up. There we go.
There you go.
All right,
Hey,
let's try
welcome
this.
back.
How am I sounding?
I mean,
Good now.
You sound fine when
You
when
sound
we can hear
fine,
you.
but
You're
it
fine.
did robots every once in
What
a
I
while.
was saying was the eggs in the car,
Uh-huh.
right? In the stands and stuff like that. That's your avatar technically. Technically, what's
Oh,
driving
I
the
see what
eggs.
you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Thanks for like carrying that check. It was really funny because I keep looking through my audio and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I can kind of cut this and just make it seem like nobody understands what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell you before.
When I legitimately edit this, I'm just gonna put like all the footage and clips I have of Rocket League over it. Easy. Just be like, what the fuck is going on?
You have footage
You know
of
what?
Rocket League?
Hey, this is
I have
just
a lot
on
of
par
clips,
with
man.
how the episode started. Because when we started, Chris's name had Chibi on it still. So I had to
Don't
fix
leave
that.
it.
No, it's
Just
Give him a
not
nice
anymore.
surprise.
Well, I mean, it's a scuffed episode because Chibi would like she decided to go on a fishing trip. Didn't tell anybody. We're like, where the fuck is she? We're supposed to do both Fury today.
She cast him some fish though.
It's fucking true.
But yeah, I mean they've already done so damn much with so many different IPs, man. Like
There's still so many out there
Let's
though.
do
I
Street
want a
Fighter
Demon
one.
Slayer. I want a Demon Slayer collab.
Give me a
see,
give me
the-
Dragon Ball Z collaboration.
DBZ, I could see for sure.
Like
I
the
mean,
boo-
they did
the
it with
boost-
Fortnite.
The boost would be fucking the Kamehameha wave.
Oh, that's sick.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
And then the like
And
the
you know
gold
what it could-
explosions could be like fucking certain attacks like
Big Bang Attack.
the Big Bang attack or the Hellzone
Ooh.
grenades by
Nah,
Piccolo.
see,
Come
for
on.
Demon Slayer, the goal explosion can be Zenitsu doing his thunder
See, I don't know who that is.
thunder dash.
Neither does
Chris,
90% of the people who play Rocket
Wrong.
League.
People play.
That's wrong.
I'm throwing out a number. I'm just
Hold on,
bullshitting.
hold
I'm just
on.
saying
Wait,
Yeah, it's
Chris,
more like
your daughter
60%.
knows what Demon Slayer is, dude.
correct. What does that mean? I know what it is.
Does she play Rocket League?
Maybe you should join in on her interests. You know, Jesus Christ. I'm kidding.
I weigh 160 pounds. My dad weighs 260.
What does
Does that make us the same?
mean?
I'm just saying, does that make us the same?
I don't know. Does it?
Just because we share the same blood?
God, Jesus. It's got out of hand really fucking quick.
I'm messing with you. No, I mean, like it's I really don't know. I mean, there's a ton of directions it could go, but I mean, at this point, it's more nobody. You just kind of log in one day. Oh, there's Demon Slayer. Okay, I guess. But
Yeah.
there's no like, there's nothing really big about it anymore. Same
Yeah.
goes for Fortnite, really. I mean, you
Shit.
just kind of log in
Sometimes
and
I
it's
go
like that.
back to games just to get the special edition skins. I did that for Mandalorian on Fortnite, and I did that for Deadpool.
Oh.
I mean, you and I look at different channels. Then I guess I don't see that kind of thing. The casual player who kind of I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying I had
I
no
am.
idea that those were even things.
This man
Yeah.
hates anime and he hates you.
He hates anything
I don't
animated. God
hate.
damn it.
You
I
like
don't hate anime. I just
I don't want to hear it. Chris, I'll talk to
You
your
know, what'd be
dad.
fun.
A lot
you
of
know, also
the-
be fun. They did like a Chainsaw Man collaboration,
Ooh, that would be cool.
and then the Goal Explosion is the cone.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I think like
We do a Scooby Doo collaboration.
they could do that.
Don't- wait, is there not
they
a
got
They
the-
did that? I want to say they did
a
the Scooby Doo
Mystery
band.
Man too.
No, not the
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
the monsters.
monster.
Wait, you mean
That
demask? Like the goal explosion is demasking him? Old man Jenkins.
Old man Withers.
We've gotten away with it, everyone, you fucks.
I don't think that's the line.
You little shits.
Yeah. See a
Yeah.
rated R version of Scooby
Is
Doo.
anyone not surprised though that Rocket League was able to pull that off? Like all these different collaborations with like DC and like
Yeah, it's Epic Games.
major movies. That's
Well, the
makes no sense, right?
I mean, it makes sense to me only from a basic consumer looking in. I mean, the greatest thing they did was making that shit free from the start on PlayStation Plus, where they got this huge following, and then everybody just kind of
Yeah,
followed.
and it was on PlayStation Plus for like a year too. That was
Yep.
like the first PlayStation Plus game that had that longevity, and then it jumped to PC, right? Like no, and then it was like $20 on PC and Xbox and stuff like that.
Right.
That's
And then eventually Epic picked it up, and I think did they make it free again?
yeah.
Eventually.
Well, eventually
Yeah.
they made it free to play.
Yeah, it's free.
That's
Yeah.
why like my complaint is like you think that with all the assets that Epic has, that they would like throw a bone at Psyonix and be like, here, dude, you guys need help making custom maps like accessible to everyone. You do it in Fortnite.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
Well, they
maybe
did
they
it with
will.
that. They did it with that. The custom basic training map where you could put the ball in front of you. You can send it up in the air.
Oh yeah. I mean, what's crazy is
That was a mod.
right. That was Bacchus mod. Well, the guy who made Bacchus mods, his name's Cinderblock, right? They hired him so that he could integrate that type of stuff,
That's good.
Good.
right? That's a great way of
Finally.
rewarding modders, right?
Well, that's kind of like what I was alluding to back when we had our what did we call it, mod episode.
Look at this guy using big words, alluding.
Yeah. But it's I was saying that some of these development companies should definitely hire some of these modders.
Well, I mean, that's what
And-
the
and-
well, did they do that for The Witcher 3 Next Gen? No, they just credited him, right? Brad, do you remember that? Where like they added for like The Witcher 3 upgrade,
Yeah.
they just credited. I think they actually took the
I think
mods
so.
and like
Yeah.
put it in the
Oh.
game,
Oh,
and
shit.
then I
Oh.
think they paid and credited them to do that.
They
Oh, at
pulled
least
a
they paid 'em.
Bethesda.
Yeah. I mean,
Bethesda does it all the damn time.
why not, right? I mean, technically, you're
They're gonna do all the work for you. Why
reinvent the wheel?
not?
at some point in time with every game, your consumer base, right? That huge loyal fan base is going to carry your game like to new heights sometimes.
Yep.
To places like you're like, how the fuck did you create like a parkour map or some type of new, obstacle course? It doesn't make any sense. Right?
I just can't wait for the VR mod.
I mean, they have.
Oh, dude,
they
please no.
That would make me
they
sick.
have.
There's a
ugh,
first person mod, I think.
ugh. So
Hmm.
they have a Skyrim mod where they actually hired, or maybe they had friends or whatever. They brought in voice actors for the quest lines that they built that they would talk to and everything. I'm just saying, like the
Okay.
amount of effort that these modders put in is sometimes insane.
Brad, for Fallout 4, didn't someone create like a Miami map? Or is that like a whole different game they created from the Fallout 4 assets? Do you remember?
Um, I remember something of that project.
I remember that project. That was like a really
Yeah.
big one, and they had like a whole trailer on it and everything. I really feel like when they get a trailer out, like I feel like certain major companies shouldn't touch them, because then you can go back and be like, "We're gonna sue you for fucking creating like your own game using our stuff." Like Jesus Christ, dude. You can't use Mario.
Well, I mean, if you make your game code open source, then you have no room to say anything.
True.
Yeah, that's
Don't,
true.
Don't
So-
complain. I mean, but I mean, here's the crazy thing, right? So, Rocket League runs on Unreal Engine 3 right now. So, like, we see what Fortnite looks like with Unreal Engine 5, right? Just the tessellation, the lighting and stuff looks gorgeous. I don't really think they have to change too much. I mean, they had like they had an Octane, by the way, in the game that you could drive around. So I was like, was this like a hint at what's going to look like with Psyonix? Like, because if it's just a visual mod, I'm okay with that. Like, but I kind of do want them to update the physics just a bit to be more accurate with the cars. Because I've told people, like, a visual mod will not bring people back to the game. It won't bring, like, they're going to expect that when, like, Rocket League 2.0 or whatever they call it comes out, the expectation is that there's going to be like new modes for everyone, new content, and there's that mobile game that's out that's still somehow alive, Sideswipe, which is a really good game, by the way. It's really fun. Me and Will played the shit out of it. That I think they should like kind of do with Fortnite Save the World mode. Just saying, when you go into the Rocket League menu, you either choose you can play Rocket League or Sideswipe.
Nope.
Is that just that side view?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I think that would be an awesome thing to add.
Yeah, it's like Rocket League but fun.
Correct, Brad.
But that's
I
actually
fucking hate
something
him.
that's actually something that Brad and I noticed between, say, something like Rogue Company and your Call of Duties and your Battlefields and stuff like that. It is a lot more precise in the Call of Duties and Battlefields because of the updated graphics and stuff like that. Whereas in Rogue Company, I noticed, you can miss by like that much and it still hits them because the hitboxes are just that much larger. So with what you're saying with Rocket League, while it will be another learning curve that you have to learn, it will make you better at the game if you decide to keep with it.
Right. Because if you make like your hitboxes car accurate, I mean, it also incentivizes the use of other fucking cars other than the Octane, the Fennec, and the Dominus. Like
Right.
Rocket League, every fucking season now they've like pushed out a new car that is played for about a week, and then
Yeah.
everyone
Everybody
goes back to the
other
Octane.
ones. Yeah.
or Josh.
I
goes
don't
back
even
to
use the
Fennec.
Octane.
Yeah, you use the
Yeah, I
Fennec,
use.
man.
Yeah.
I use Big Bertha.
Yeah, you do. That you do. You use the grinder,
The big boomer.
the big boomer, or the Proteus, which is like the ugliest car. It has like the arms in front of it. Or something.
Oh
Disgusting.
yeah, it looks like a
Oh, yeah.
beetle.
Disgusting looking thing.
I really want that to have its own hitbox. Just as you're
The
doing it.
scarab.
Just a circle.
As
The
you're
scarab just grabs the ball.
as you're doing the fucking flip reset, it's like oh my god, none of this makes sense when I'm trying to hit it. I've always
It'd
been
be nice if maybe they change up the rumble a little bit.
So,
Like-
dude, there have been some cool mods about Rumble where it's like, they've added new Rumble features and shit like that. They've added like they did change up Rumble, I think, a little bit. They were testing it where you had like
Different power ups.
yeah, certain periods of time to use it or some shit like that. I thought it was okay. You could also select your Rumble icon or whatever when you were playing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Huh.
But yeah, I mean they don't necessarily have to. Like, the mode they have to get rid of is fucking Snow Day. God damn.
Oh,
Hold on, no.
Yeah,
I kind of
that-
had fun with that because what we would do is we would play it like
hate
hockey,
that.
right? Like if you
It-
demo somebody, you gotta then ride the wall 2 laps as like a power play penalty, and then come back down.
Okay, yeah, I mean that'd be cool, but if they did that, but they don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it ourselves.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. You punish yourself in a rank, but and also here's the other thing. Why is it that I cannot play Rumble or any of those other modes casually?
Oh yeah, I don't understand that.
It's kind of weird, right? Like it's fully into
Yeah.
a ranked mode. Like
But it never used to always be like that.
I
Yeah, it
think
used to
Pretty
be
sure
either
they used
or.
to have it casually.
I think
It was both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was
both,
before Epic took over.
Good.
Josh's entire thing is about his whole beef is like Epic took over and just ruined the whole thing. Just
It
They
used
didn't
to
ruin
be.
it. I mean, they
man yells
it's
at cloud.
living the life that Fortnite has, right?
Right.
But I think, and it's free, and the way they get their money is through seasons and pass the pass. But I don't know. I'm sure they made some changes that made sense for their business model, but I think some of the things like that simple, just make it casually available. I don't want to have to play ranked all the time, because then if you leave the game, right, because you're fed up of the teammates or something like that, now you're penalized and can't play any
Imagine if Epic just made
online
like
game.
a portal. Like they just like create a thing called Epic Portal, and it's like Fortnite, Rocket League, the corpse of Paragon.
Or you can switch to games. Like that'd be interesting.
The corpse of Paragon. It's like-
R.I.P.
oh, they brought it back, didn't they?
Predecessors
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Predecessors out, but I still don't know how I feel about that game.
Oh,
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
I mean, get off topic, but I was wondering how it was.
It's not bad.
Kevin loved
it's
that
just
stuff.
not the same.
this whole thing is
Okay.
scuffed, Chris. Right? We have like audio fuck ups.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We'll just go
we-
whatever.
Me, all right, me. I'll cut some stuff. It'll be fine. Last thing I want to bring up is Josh's first show match on his stream. I called it RL Bump Fights. My first cast. That was funny as shit. It was Chris versus Josh, and Josh's panic set in a couple times. Josh, what was that like? Because you don't play 1v1 at all, ever.
I usually don't.
And
No.
Chris and I have 1v1 in the past to kind of warm up and stuff. What was that like for you as like your first like 1v1 match with a friend? What was like your mindset going in? Like, was it like
My mindset is I know he's good with dribbling, so I have to try to keep it in the air as much as possible, because his ground game is amazing. And then when it
bro.
hits the ground, that's when I fucking panic, because I know he's gonna fucking fake me out. So I was calm at first, and then as the time progressed, you put that pressure on me. I started fucking up royally.
we have that VOD, right? Do we have that VOD? I'm gonna have to find it.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm gonna
we probably do.
integrate it into this clip and just have it playing over as we talk about it. Like, let's talk about what happened, Because I thought you were doing fine, and I knew Chris was like slowing down. I knew he was going half speed.
Yeah, he was giving me
Because if
little
Chris
bit
went
of
full
a-
speed, it would have been like 20 to nothing.
Dude, I was like this half the game.
right.
No, I'm fucking with you. No,
But it was so fun watching it and like casting it and just talking shit. I'm like, someone in your chat was like, it's like a real caster or something. Well, I had to make it exciting because like I also think I made you panic a little bit because you could hear me talking.
oh, Chris is dribbling the ball. I remember.
Because he kept saying, if he wins this, he gets this.
Yeah, I was gonna give him 10 gift subs, but I gave him
10
5.
subs.
I gave him 5 sympathy gift subs. I still gave you something.
Yeah.
But I think like we should do that more often. Just like put up your buddies and just have them face each other. RL bum fights. Oh man.
I mean, I enjoyed myself just because I am notoriously bad at ones. The good thing, and this is why Ken tells me to do ones, boost management.
Yeah,
That will make you so fucking good
sometimes
at
when I
boost
play with
management.
Chris, it's so funny because Chris will he'll play with me and he'll be like, "Hey man, go get boost." I'm like, "Nah, I got like 40." You like how? I was like, "Cause I conserve as I move."
No, it's more of a question of how are you just okay with 20 or whatever he says.
I only need like 28 to get to it. Like you only need so to save like certain shots, you need about 32 to get to the ceiling and stuff like that. So if I have to challenge an aerial, that's all you need is about 30 boost, and you can make those big challenges.
And we didn't even get into the big part of rotations and shit like that.
I mean, we could.
That's where that should.
We could bring that up briefly. Like that's for anyone who's playing, who's like trying to get better. You need to learn. Like there's a couple like rotating, not panicking is like my. It's the one thing that's my biggest pet peeve. I think this will be like the last segment. My biggest pet peeve in Rocket League is like when people get panicky, And I know that
you
like
have to be patient.
people aren't jumping in voice chat, and sometimes like I don't want to be in text chat because people are being dicks or whatever. But it's like I give like my car sometimes, like when I'm playing with randoms, I'll do like it's pretty much like giving central car language, right? If I'm turning back, that's your indication to go forward, right? And I feel like when we're in 2s and 3s sometimes with like random people, like I see people panic all the fucking time. And as you play this game, you're gonna know the ball's gonna hit the crossbar or above it. It's gonna hit the side. Like you get used to that type of feeling. But I feel like with like platinums and diamonds, a lot of the time it's like they see a ball hit above them, they immediately boost back and they knock you out of position. And you're the one in the goal with the better touch out, you know? And that's
Yeah,
something I try
and
to like kind of, be patient with certain people.
and one thing, I mean, there's actually two things to note, but the one big thing to note too is that there is a difference between, yeah, I get it, you have long torso, neck.
The long neck, girl.
All right, there is a big difference between defending the goal and rotating properly, because some people will sit in goal for far too long.
Yeah.
They won't.
Chris.
Somebody will be dribbling. No, I don't even. There's a huge difference. Like I've been playing with Marshall lately, and Marshall, one of the and I've talked to, he knows, one of the drawbacks that he kind of has is that he'll be one-on-one against somebody, right? And he won't trust his teammate behind him to go and challenge. So he stays back, and what ends up happening, we both get scored on.
Yeah.
Because nobody challenged. So just having that presence of mind that I've got a teammate behind me, I have to trust that person, which is difficult to do, which again is why I don't really play with randoms. Because it's just frustrating to me. My buddy messes up, I'm not gonna end our friendship over that shit.
We're done, Brad.
So.
It's over.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
No, I agree with that. I mean, and as soon as you get ready in the game, it's like rotations, knowing when to challenge, right? Like what I've kind of showed Chris a lot when we were playing against like higher level players, I'm like, the moment that fucking dude goes off the wall, I'm pre-jumping. And I'm either kind of fading back, right, with boosts and feathering to make sure that they can see me and that they only have so many options around me, because then Chris has at least space to counter. There's some shots you just can't stop. Like if someone has a flipper set already, I'm going for the car. I'm just letting everybody know. Because if I knock you out of position, then maybe there's a good chance that the ball flies off of you or it 50s off of you and goes to the other side or some shit. But I feel like one of the things I see a lot of like newer players like failing at massively is challenging. Like if they're going to catch that ball, there's a certain point, like if you can meet them by the time they get that ball on top of their hood, like challenge.
The apex. Yeah. Yep.
Do not let certain players, like they do it all the time with Chris, and I just don't know why they let him do it. He did this like 4 times in the game where he'll like have space. And I'm like, nobody will close in on him, and they'll just wait. I'm like, that's a bad move, because Chris is really adept at stopping and then having people immediately lunge, right? Because they're panicking. And it happens all the time.
You can't hesitate, because then you don't have time to recover.
Happened with Josh a couple times in the 1v1 where Josh was like, what is he doing? Like,
what is he thinking?
Chris is like, I'm going to flick on you while he's like playing.
And I personally believe that the rotation is much more important in 3s.
100%.
But 2s is so much more faster.
I've told people this before, like 2s in general. Brad, why are you playing Land IO?
I fucked up our frame.
My bad.
Don't worry.
Another thing we got
Rocket League. I have clips to put over this. I have clips everywhere. I have clips for all of this. But
Josh, you were saying, sorry.
No, yeah. So like the big thing is, especially when you're playing in 3s, like in 2s, it's more like solo ability a lot. Like you can incorporate team play. 3s keeps you honest as fuck. It really does, because like in 3s, like you can't go for so many like really spectacular plays, knowing that a lot of your teammates are probably like, I'm open mid. or
Mhm.
I'm on that corner shot. And then if everyone's like rotating ball side, then I'm leaving space on the right or the left. And that's going to cause a lot of trouble, especially when people are rotating back. Because if everyone's a ball side, when you're rotating back, how are you guys all rotating? Usually
Right.
like as quickly as possible, and we're hitting each other, you know?
Mhm.
I really don't recommend people play threes a lot, because like unless you have like a team, because playing twos is a little bit easier because I'm gonna have a ton more space. You should have a ton more space. You shouldn't be like Brad, like creeping up on what are you doing over there? You smell nice.
Mm.
Is that new
It's
You say
definitely
that
easier
yeah.
It's for the putback dunk.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Is that new shampoo?
you say that, but your low diamonds, high gold, stuff like that, they're gonna ball chase. And Brad actually said it perfect in the beginning. Was see ball, hit ball.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
The thing is like
So-
ball
That's
chasing.
what you learn first,
But the thing is
right?
like ball
Right.
chasing is fine as long as you have the propensity to get to the ball. As long as you have that ability to make that read, I'll trust you. Like the moment, like in twos, when I play with randoms and ranked, like when I'm like up in C3, if they can see me double tap or make a hard read off a ball or like pinch it, immediately it's like everyone kind of understands how good everyone is in the lobby. So then we start giving each other space. I see it all the time. The moment someone sees Chris, and this happens all the time when we play twos, the moment someone sees Chris catch and gets a flick over someone and scores it, is the moment people start changing up their defensive. They're like, okay, we can't be as aggressive against this guy because he's gonna fucking catch it.
Or they'll be more aggressive, and immediately as soon as I touch the
Exactly.
ball, they're attacking
Exactly.
me,
Right. So
which
like,
is, in my opinion, way more annoying.
yeah, Chris just wants to clip on you. Okay.
I just want to clip on you, man.
Just let me hit the.
That's it.
Just let me try to hit this musty flick. God, why do you hate me so?
I'm not
much?
even streaming. It's just for me.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not even doing
I
it for
know.
anybody else.
Right.
Like, it's like I'm not
Right.
streaming. He's like, who's this streaming for? Nobody. When I'm doing it in like Josh's, when I'm showing off in like Josh's stream, I do that to show up on Josh. You know, like this is what you can't do. It's like when we play Jade. I have fucking pissed off Jade a lot. And if he ever watches this, there was a play that was like me, you.
Pooh, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
me, Chris, Will, and Jade.
And he's
And
really good.
I had this play where Jade, me and him have 1v1 a lot, and like, I think Chris hit the ball over to me. I caught it and then air dribbled it to the other end, to the end of the goal. And Jade goes, "Why do you always do that only on me?" I was like, "Because you're a grand champ, and I want to embarrass you sometimes. Because I want to let you know that I'm coming for you." You know what I'm saying?
That's great.
Check your
I
rear
haven't seen
view.
him in a while.
It's me, motherfucker. But that's like the thing I really want. You know, I feel like I watch Josh play. Josh is a smart player. Josh has like the one move, and I wish we got to find it in your VODs, where Josh will hit it off the sidewall and immediately like launch himself and knock it straight toward the goal. And everyone we play with goes like,
Wow.
"What the fuck was that?" And it's so fast too, because it's going like 65 to 70, and it's so accurate. I'm like, "How do you do that?" Like, and Josh is like, "That's my one move," and he'll like drive off.
Dude, it's like when the game first came out, everybody's one move was, it's coming to me, I'm on the right side, I'm gonna bang it, it's gonna bounce off the corner, go in front of the net, and I'm gonna pop it in.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing everybody was like,
Everyone could
that's the
do.
big move. And then aerials started becoming a thing, and you're like, bro, did I drop some acid or something? What the hell is going on around here? I don't understand.
Chris's unstoppable move that is now like done by everyone at like Champ and GC was this air dribble that he could do so cleanly, where he'd like literally lift it off his car and he would just carry it up. And I was like, "That's awesome." And
Now
I'm
it's
like,
nothing.
And now everyone does it. And Chris is like, "What have I become?"
Become a shadow of myself.
Chris just sit there and watches highlights of himself. It's what Rocket League used to be. It used to be so
It's like
easy.
Better Call Saul.
You can air dribble, huh? But can you have your car orbit the ball while it's going towards the goal?
Dude, it's I feel like freaking Saul Goodman in Better Call Saul in the very first episode where he watches his old old commercials, just drinking a whiskey. Just, I used to be so good.
I used to be somebody. And I mean, I think that's ultimately like the reason why I'd come back is just I can kind of learn some of the moves in the meta and stuff like that. Like me and Jade, we talk shit all the time about it, but it's just like, sometimes you're gonna plateau until you force yourself to learn how to play. And I know that with Brad's not gonna try to do that, right? He only plays because we play. But it's always fun watching Brad progress even in like small increments. And I'm like, how did you do that?
And honestly,
I still think my
I'm
favorite
sorry.
clip ever with Brad is that we're playing a threes match, and Brad unintentionally faked the entire team. He like drove it, and he was driving really slow. He had no boost, and everyone dove, and they just like crisscrossed around him, and he's like, "Yeah." It's awesome. And I was like, "How did you do that, Brad?" And he was like, "Oh."
The
fact of the matter
I
is,
was like, I didn't do anything. They expected me to do something.
Exactly. I mean, like, you are not going to get better if you play with people at or below your level 2.
I tell
You
people
have
that
to
all the
get your
time.
you
I
have
tell
to get
people
your
that
ass
all the
kicked.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Dolphin, he's like, man, I can't play with y'all. I was like, you have to play with us because that's the only way you're going to be able to go up against people that are
One of the
like
things,
us or higher.
one of the things I respect about you, Jack, is that we were playing 2v2, or we did the 2v3 mean.
Mhm.
But like, when everyone else was like kind of complaining, you were like, "No, we have to learn." And I was like,
Mhm.
"That's true," because me and
Dude,
Chris were,
gross.
in that game. Me and Chris were going like half speed, like we're going like
Yeah.
maybe 3/4 sometimes. But like I remember, Dolphin was talking a little shit, and I was like, "All right, I'll turn it on for a little bit. I'll show you what this is like when like, we take it seriously a little bit."
Gotta
But-
humble people sometimes.
Yeah, you know. I was like, "All right, man, you scored what? Chill. You scored a pinch shot. Like, relax, champ. Let me fuck with you a little bit here."
But I told him, I said, don't stop that from. I mean, I've gotten my ass kicked many a days
Won't stop.
playing Rocket League against people. Like I used to team up with Jade and play people in his fucking rank.
Dude, Jade he's a psychopath. I love playing with Jade sometimes, but dude, he straight up like is the most aggressive fucking player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like we've had losses. It was so funny. We've had losses because he like underestimates how good another team is. He's like, "Fuck it, bro. Let's go. Let's make these noobs learn." I'm like, "We just lost to Rio." He's like, "Well, that's a bad game."
I was off that game.
I'm like, "Jade, you were just diving at the ball." He's like, "Yeah, but it was fun." You know.
Yeah.
The real lessons learned is that we had a good time
Yeah.
Made some friends along the way.
and made some enemies, most likely because Jade's talking shit.
Oh yeah, he does.
Oh man, I want Rocket League to stay fucking toxic. Well,
I mean, you can mute that shit now, so whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
The good
Yeah.
news is, Brad, is that this is not the most scuffed podcast we've ever done. Right? That was
Yeah.
like that'd be our
That's right.
first where we lost all our fucking audio. We just played charades through the middle, which I'm not gonna edit out. I'm just gonna clip over it. Just have it be like my voiceover or Jack's voiceover. Like, what are you saying? And I'm like, check out this aerial play.
You should just have one of us record what we think you're saying.
Dude, you guys can legit. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can use my audio.
Yeah.
And I can just have like, because on my screen it looked like I was talking normally, and then you guys are like, "What?" And Chris was like, I heard
Here's
a
the
box.
fucked up part is us three, we sat here for at least the first 2 minutes of you doing that, and nobody said anything, so I thought it was me. So I started looking around at
I thought
my
it was me
shit.
too.
I started
because,
looking around. I said, "Is something fucking up on my computer right now?"
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna model. I'll use my footage. I have my footage up.
All right.
Yeah, because I told you right before the stream started that it was happening, right? I was like, I don't know if it's a gain issue or whatever the case may be. So then I thought it was me. So I was like, oh, we'll just leave it, right? So everybody here was being fucking
Nobody
polite.
was saying anything.
I love it. That shit's so funny. I was kind of like 1v1, and I kept doing this, and Chris was like, "Yes, 1, absolutely."
11.
Box.
We're
What the
number
fuck is it?
one.
What do you mean
Oh,
box? What do you
man.
mean box with box, kid? I'm like it's here, but it's over there. You know what I'm saying? Oh
right.
shit! All right, let's
Well,
get some
I'm
closing
gonna-
thoughts in with Rocket League. All right. I think the emphasis is like, could you convince a new player? So obviously we can't convince Brad. So
Nope.
I think for these closing thoughts, like, Chris, could you convince a new player, like someone you know right now, never played the game? Could you convince them to play Rocket League?
Oh, I could absolutely convince them to play. I mean, it's car soccer or car hockey or however you want to describe it. But
commit to it, though. Could you convince them to commit to it and stick with the game?
I think that's very difficult because it's a lot like
If
Siege.
you pay him enough.
Right. It's a lot like Siege in that you can be good in this certain range, but if you want to get to, say, my level or your level or whoever, it's going to take some work. You can't just bullshit your way there, right? You can't get carried.
Yeah, you
It comes to a point you can't get carried anymore.
Yeah.
Where you
could
are
definitely pay
absolutely
someone
needed.
to boost your account, you know.
I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, Sunless would never do that, but
Oh, what the
I don't
fuck?
care if he did or didn't. I really don't give a shit. The point I'm getting at is that you know, you could have someone, but at a certain point, I don't care how good you are. If you say, "Hey, random person that is a grand champ, I want you to bring me to grand champ," I doubt they're going to be able to. Champ, definitely. But grand champ, trying to get you all the way up there, it's just not going to happen. And you're not going to learn anything along the way. So I mean, as soon as you're on your own, you're going to suffer and you're going to hate it anyway. So, as far as committing, it's one of those that's the onus is on them. They have to enjoy it, embrace the suck, so to speak.
Jack?
Yeah, I think what brings them through the door is that time with friends on that game first.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be very difficult to bring somebody in with no guidance, like to say, hey, you know, I think you'd like this game, and it's saying this to somebody random, like, right, you're gonna love this game, give it a try, but then you leave it to them to just come in and try to pick up all these different things all by themselves. I think what won me over with this game when I first played it was the fact I played it with a group of friends doing a private match, talking up the entire time, but them along the way saying, "Hey, these are some common things you want to do if you see this, or you know, these are things that you may want to change in the way that you're handling that." Um, that really helped me to be like, "Okay, I'm having fun. I know this is a thing that has a huge learning curve. It's not going to be easy, and I'm going to need to dedicate some kind of time." And I think people need to know that up front, that you can't just come into this game and become the best player in the fucking world immediately.
True.
It's not going to
Unless you're
happen.
like some type of prodigy.
And I've yet to see that.
Yeah.
And I mean, even then, I don't care. Yeah, I mean,
I don't give a shit who you think you are.
no, it's just like, I mean, come into my lobby. I'm just saying, you think you're good? All right.
Yeah, I think two
appreciate
things. I think they need to start off with some friends,
Right.
and second, understand that this ain't no Call of Duty where you can just
Rodeo.
jump
Oh yeah.
in.
Rodeo Call of Duties.
This ain't a like a specific game where you
Where
can
did Chris
just
go?
you just threw us off. What the fuck happened? Anyways, now I'm Ducci. Hello, welcome. That over there, that's Chris. Jekyll and Krill's the dragon.
Sorry.
We're back.
I figured you can cut that out. No, that was.
I'll just put
Curious,
a clip
I just
over
wanna-
it.
they were opening the door. So
I'm gonna have to find
No,
your
it's
I'm
good.
gonna have to find
It's
your
good.
VOD, Jack, the Rocket League one.
That's fine. But yeah, the second part is just telling people up front that it's not an easy thing to
Yeah,
get
it's not
good
an easy
at.
game.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a job.
It honestly feels like it sometimes.
Brad, try like as if you're talking to someone like Brandon, right? Someone brand new, not necessarily, kind of like a novice gamer.
Okay, so speaking of when I said I bought the game back in beta and I would play against the computer, you could set up tournaments and Brandon would come over and it would be we would do twos tournaments and it would be me and him versus the computer. So like that's how I played the game to begin with. You know, me and Brandon were beating the computer, right? That's how bad the computer was. Brandon was scoring goals on the computer.
I tried to coach him, by the way. That was not fun. No offense, Brandon.
No, me and Brandon played a little bit. Another guy that I played D&D with. He's the one that I play with on very seldom occasion and go, holy crap, this is how silvers play the game. But I
did playing with me and Chris spoil it for you? Like kind of seeing like the work you have to put in to kind of get to, you know, to be, I would say like highlight reel type plays and shit like that. Did that kind of ruin it for you? Like the fun of it when you see how locked in you have to be to play sometimes.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem fun. It's like I don't.
But I
I
feel
don't.
like you need that realism there to be
That's right.
placed in front of you so you understand.
So you know your fucking place.
I mean,
Know this nerd. When I
Well, it's-
reset,
Know your place, trash.
Well. Also, when you get to that level, like, or when I play with y'all, either we beat the team, 7-0, or they beat us 14-0. There's usually not an in between. Very
was not.
occasionally.
we went through an entire streak of like 6 losses, and I was like losing my mind. I was like, Brad, please, and Brad's like, and Brad would get quiet because Brad's usually like a smart ass, but I knew that he'd get frustrated because he'd be quiet because we were just on his bad losing streak.
Or
I'm
you
like-
immediately start bad mouthing me. I wouldn't even say anything, and he would just attack me.
It's the best thing
I'm
ever,
like-
dude. Like, Brad, every other game we play, Chris, you were right. 100% right. Every other game we play together, Brad does not talk shit to Chris. We get in a Rocket League, Brad is just trash talking this man for no reason.
Out the gate.
It's like trying to get into a mindset. I need you to carry me. You're fucking garbage. Like,
I'm sitting there like,
How to set expectations, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's true. That's true. And I appreciate, first off, I appreciate Brad's honesty about the game.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, watching Brad play, you can see that there's skill there, but I think there's a point where, like, that grind does not become fun for some people.
I feel like I'm brutally honest every time we play.
No, you are.
Because you're like, are you even having fun? And I'm like, no, not really, but I'm here.
But you had fun when you were beating up Brandon in the 1v1s. I know you were.
Exactly.
This man was cooking Brandon. It was so bad. Brandon's like, how are you getting over there, Brad? I don't understand.
There's a boost. I didn't know there was a boost.
No, it's not boost, dude. Talk like Will. It's turbo. I mean,
it's
my
a
bad.
turbo.
oh my god, that turbo.
we get that
It's
turbo,
nitrous.
bud. All right, so I mean, I that's why I wanted Brad on, because I knew that like he technically was really a new player in terms of like putting hours in, seeing like how things looked at certain different levels. I had Josh on, who played it on and off for a long time. Chris and I were pretty much committed to the game. I still play it a lot just because I want to like consistently clip on people when I can. So I think the good points of view. I think this is honestly like this was a casual conversation about Rocket League. I see far too many conversations at times that are full of people who are either pro players, casters, content creators, who I think their view of the game is a bit skewed sometimes, And I think that like the casual view is like, the game's fun, it's just not repeatable anywhere else that we've seen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I played in a diamond tournament the other day with Marshall, and we were in the semifinals, and we were down 2-1 with 3 seconds left, and we set up this pinch, and the goal went in. I've been playing this game since 2015. That was still exciting for me.
Yeah. There's still
You know what I mean?
things that like a great goal. Like there was a goal, like me and Chris had a game, and I'll clip it and like wherever I'm talking about it. We had a game. We were legitimately fucking like nothing was going right. I could not hit a shot. We were fucking hitting the backboard. We were the backboard heroes, right? Just missing it, hitting the post. The game ended when the guy tried to pick up the ball and dribble toward me, and I hit it and pinched it off of him. And Chris was like, "Is that in?" And it went into the net, and I was fucking screaming.
My God.
I was like, "Fuck yeah, we finally did," because we scored like, I think it was like 3 goals, I think in like 50 seconds or something like that, because we were down, I think 4-1, and we just like, we'll stick with it, we'll see where it goes, and then we just
So the excitement's still there, whereas a lot of other things kind of allure, you kind of lose that allure towards it. Your Call of Duties and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, I'm on a 5 kill streak. That used to be like fucking, oh man, heart pumping, let's go. Or Siege, where it's like I'm the final one left, right? And I'm facing against 3 people. I don't even feel that heart thumping or anything anymore, because either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna not. I don't care.
in
Rocket League, I still feel it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially when I watch Chris, like he'll like catch and dribble it over, and I'm like, there's no time left, and then Chris will score, and I'm like, dude, they have to be so heartbroken because they don't expect Chris to do that.
Oh, it makes me feel so good. Fuck
It
their
is-
families.
Toxicity at its finest is not talking shit in chat. toxicity is me dunking on you in a play and then
Yes, sir.
saying nice save.
Yep.
What a
What a
save.
save.
Close
Nice
one.
block.
Yeah, right.
But
I don't talk shit, but plenty do.
Yeah.
I'll talk shit with you
Yeah,
in our Discord channel, but I'm not gonna publicly put that.
That's going to
Bigger
wrap
than
up
that
our
now.
Rocket League video. I want to thank Josh for carrying on when I was having a ton of audio issues. Josh did a really good job of like legitimately carrying it with different questions. That was really well done. I was trying to say that too. I was like, good job, Josh. But he was like, Josh, like I'm trying to get your attention. Thank Chris for coming on, talking about Rocket League, showing off his gold octane, you know.
One more time.
Wait,
One
he
more
has
time.
a gold octane?
He does. He's a gold octane. He actually
Yeah,
got
look
it.
at that.
It's where did you get it, by the way?
So they come in little. I think they're doing with the
Mystery
Harry
packs, aren't
Potter
they?
shit now. Yeah, I think they're
Sure,
doing with
those-
like Harry Potter wands
Yeah,
and
I've
shit
seen
now.
those.
But finally got the gold octane. My kid, you know, kids. She got this wild hair that I would fucking love these, and I
He was right.
do. I do. Yeah.
Hey man, adult money, baby. That's what it is.
So no, she spent her own money on this, man.
Oh, really?
So
Oh.
yeah,
Wow.
she earned this money. So I was very appreciative.
I want to thank Brad for coming on as usual and being honest about Rocket League. I do want that other perspective there. It was nice. Thank you, Brad, even though it was kind of uncomfortable. Don't worry, we're gonna have your Bo Fury episode next week, I think, if Chibi doesn't lie to us.
Yeah.
I'll be done with the show by then.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. I
I
know.
finished season 1 already.
Good, finally.
I do want to thank everyone for listening. I do think that people, if you are interested in Rocket League, if
Give
you
it
have
a
any
try.
interest, keep your expectations realistic, right? Have a good time with it, but also know that there's a lot of work that goes into it for you to play and to rank up. There's a grind, like a long
Mhm.
hours grind.
Yeah.
But if you love
Yeah.
it,
Keep in mind, you are going to suck.
you are going to suck for a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
right? But
Accept it.
yeah, just accept it. But once you
Nope.
start like getting those training packs in, the hours in, you start seeing the results. It's like playing
like
a
Play
Dark
video game
with
Souls.
and getting great
people
at it.
who are
Dark
above you.
Souls. Yeah.
I'm just saying, Dark Souls. When I first
Dude,
played it,
like,
man, I
hey, look,
sucked.
Like, don't just play casual, play comp too.
And then he played
Yeah.
ranked souls and
ranks
got better.
That's true.
Right.
So I want to thank
Thanks,
everyone for
guys.
listening, and we will talk to you next time. Brad, do the wave. Do the
Oh
wave.
God, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Was it?
No,
Oh, wrong one.
There it is. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Later.